And then there is this narration that tells us it's very real, and that narration and that self-consciousness has become a separate self, a separate entity, a separate being, the someone who is compassionate, the someone who is peaceful, the someone who this, that, the other thing, is a woman, is a man, is a Christian, is a Democrat, whatever it is. Which is not so bad either, if it isn't believed to be essentially true. I loved Byron Katie's description of awakened consciousness as "I'm no longer a believer." That really resonated here. Really resonated. And I've also heard her say, somebody asked her if she believed anything, and she said, well, it just hasn't come into, my experience in a really, really long time. But if I needed a belief, I wouldn't hesitate to get one. That's freedom. That is freedom. That is like standing beyond any kind of notion of what anything is. So I know here that there have been a lot of phases. Audrey called them phases, so I'm going to go with that word. That you just can't find an actual word for it. And at each phase, there has been the temptation. There has been the temptation to have something come in and own it, have it, believe it, claim it. I have a brilliant teacher sitting in the room with us, so I have a mantra that is written on this consciousness: sweetheart, I wouldn't make too much of it. I'm telling you. Sweetheart, I wouldn't make too much of it. There's a lot of places that you think you've landed. Someone. Even when the actual faculty, I'm going to call it, whereby there's a self-reflectiveness that talks to itself, drops out. For the most part, it drops out. It hasn't happened here in a long time. There's still habituation, conditioning, and collective belief. Woo, is there ever collective belief? Sharon was talking about Joel Goldsmith, and he, much to his great surprise, a New York City Jewish door-to-door salesman, started receiving the teachings of who he called the Master, Christ. And it grew into this togetherness. He never wanted it called organization or anything like that, but a togetherness that was, thousands and tens of thousands of people worldwide, the infinite way. And the presence, the radiant transparency, the rooted reality in that expression, Joel Goldsmith, was so prominent that that field would just rectify, restore, and redeem whatever came into it. So, of course, people wanted to eat him alive because cancers disappeared and, the rain came when it needed to, the whole thing. Can't remember where I was going with that, but he pointed to the complete relinquishing, releasing, letting go, giving way of believing that there are two powers, good and bad. Because the reflective world, sure, the seductive, false evidence appearing real, sure looks like there's good and bad. But if in the ground, and in this Sangha, we can talk about this now. In the ground, there is an unopposed, basic, the Tibetans call it basic goodness. It's unopposed. It isn't in opposition or relationship to a polarity, a dualism. This is, the conceptual mind, the tempter, will never understand this. Absolutely never understand this. It will go through all kinds of demonstrations to say, no way. There is a good that overcomes bad. But what we are beginning to realize is that if that was true, then there would always be the eye for an eye. This bad needs more good. Okay, now this good, now this, you know what I'm saying? Understand? There will never be an end. And then all the belief, including spiritual beliefs, about the earth as a hell realm come into being. Well, this is a school in a hell realm, and there's like all the bad stuff. We come here to just work it out. Lord have mercy. And to say no to that takes a tremendous amount of unflinching. That's where I was going with it. People considered Joel Goldsmith to be a very cold person. They wanted his personal empathy, his personal sympathy. They wanted to do that thing that we all do, where we give each other our personal, what Jigme calls idiot compassion, which Timo thinks doesn't sound very nice. But nevertheless, that's what Khenpo Jigme calls it, idiot compassion. My version of what you need. And what Joel is saying is, of my own self I can do nothing. Lord, give me eyes to see. And it's a very different prayer. A very different prayer. If you don't like the word Lord, I mean, he was old school. These words, like Sharon was saying, find one that resonates for that which can't be named, that from which I come, the animating, sustaining, maintaining, unspeakable truth.